Guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today's going to be a different kind of video, but I'm really excited about it. I have on the line right now Royale, famous as the guy who made Suarez give the dirty finger in CCGS spring season. And we also have Option Trader, aka Max from Crucible Wrath. Huge shout out to that clan family. They actually reached out to me to see if they could have one of their members on to talk about the topic that is really controversial right now, and it is the gem bans. Thousands of people got banned for basically buying cheap gems over the internet or whatever. So I have Royale and Option Trader on right now to kind of talk about this subject matter and give their opinions on things, and we're just going to kind of see where the conversation goes. It's a really hot button topic right now in the community. So let's start out with you, Royale. How do you feel, or Royal, how do you feel about these bans? Did anybody you know get hit by it? Did you get hit?
Yeah, I did get hit. I'm banned for.
Oh no! So you're on a 1 month break.
Yeah, 31 days. I'm already banned for 5 days, so I have 26 more. So it's like I feel it's the right way to do, because that way it will stop most of the buyers from getting more, because as you know, if you will get banned twice, your account will be banned permanently, and nobody wants that. Mm-hmm. So me personally, I will never buy them again.
So tell me, I gotta ask, if you're willing to share, like without throwing anybody under the bus or whatever, like what did you do?
So basically, you are searching for a dealer which will sell you gems for, like, I don't know, between $35 to $45. And as you might know, the standard price is about 110 euros, so it's way more cheaper.
Wow, that is indeed. And do you have any knowledge as to how they're getting their gems and why Supercell has a big problem with it?
I'm not sure how they are getting their gems. I know there are more options, like from stolen cards to refund policy from Apple.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, because definitely stolen cards and getting refunds and stuff like that is obviously a major issue, not to mention a crime. So you can kind of see where they're coming from in regards to that. Now, we'll definitely get back to you, Royal, because I think that I really want to hear more about kind of your story and where you stand on things, being in that kind of a interesting, firsthand experience with it. But Max, first of all, welcome to the channel, man, and great to have you on. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself as a player, since I've never had you on the channel before, and then kind of where you stand on this issue?
Oh yeah, sure. Thanks a lot for having me. Big fan of your channel. And I appreciate it. My name is Max, and I play under Option Trader. I've been in Crucible Wrath basically since the initiation of the game. I'm not a super elite competitive player. I'm kind of always in the bottom half of Crucible Wrath, but I've played a ton. I have like 12,000 wins or something. So,
whoa, that's crazy.
Definitely played a lot. As far as my stand on this, I think, it's pretty clear that it's wrong. The people who did this, it's not like I think that they're evil or anything, but they clearly, violated the terms of service. The actual act of doing it itself is clearly unethical, and in many cases against the law. It's definitely unfair to those who have paid full price for those gems. And it's also important to mention that, selling the gems is a primary revenue source for Supercell. So you're kind of messing with the lifeblood of their business. So I think that is relevant. I think it's easy to hate on Supercell because they make a lot of money, but they depend on that revenue source. And so when they're stealing from them or from a card, it's all sketchy. So I'm just definitely against it. And I think temporary ban, 30 days might be a little long, but you broke a rule, you paid the price. I think it's relatively fair.
Yeah, and as someone who has always paid full price for gems, that point you made really resonates with me in terms of, like, it really is kind of a a kick in the butt to us, because, like, here we are spending full money to get the same thing as people are paying 30% or whatever as what we are. It kind of messes with the whole economy too. But I want to take more of a neutral stance here. So let me ask you this: a lot of players on social media are saying that, you know what, Supercell charges such an exorbitant amount for their gems, right? And it's ridiculous sometimes that the super magical chest costs $30, and it's just not an even playing field. Some people feel like, especially in areas of the world where people don't necessarily have that much money. So you got to do what you can do to get by. What response do you have to those type of people who say, I don't have the money, but I do want to spend a little bit and compete in this game?
I mean, the reality of the situation is that the game is free and that you can really get to the tournament level standard pretty easily. I mean, for those people who aren't willing to pay money, they're never going to get a maxed account, and that's just the reality of the situation, and it's intentional by Supercell. So, I mean, my response is that, yeah, it won't be an even playing field on ladder, but that's why they've created these other aspects of the game so that there is an even playing field for those people who don't want it. And those people who complain about it also, they got to realize that, their free gaming experience is being subsidized by those who are willing to pay for it. So, I mean, I don't feel like there's a whole lot to complain about.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. Royal, do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, Max just said it was unethical, and he said that the argument saying that, you just can't afford it doesn't really hold much weight overall. Do you have any responses to that, or any kind of thoughts on your own, or maybe even from your perspective why it did make sense at the time?
No, I honestly agree with what he said. It's true, but my option would be to lower the gem prices, because in the last 1 year they actually increased them.
So you think that, so for me, the gem prices hasn't gone up in US dollars. Have they gone up in Romania?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not sure how much, but I know they did.
Okay, so you think that the solution here is to lower gem prices in the game entirely. Don't you think that the same problem will kind of be there? There'll always be people, even if they lower them by 50% or something dramatic like that, don't you think there'll always be people trying to take advantage of that system as well, and they'll use the same justification?
Well, the other option would be to completely ban the cheap gems. I'm pretty sure Supercell can do that if they struggle to do that. I think they can.
I think that'd probably be difficult though, because if these people are using stolen credit cards, or if they're using, they obviously have to be using something illegal, because what's happening here is at the end of the month, Apple and Google will go to Supercell and charge them full price for any gems bought illegally, basically taking 100% of the revenue. I heard some people making the argument that, hey, Supercell's still getting some money here, but it's not like that. It's that Apple gets the money when you buy the gems, and then Apple will charge Supercell after the fact. So they're losing money all across the board on this kind of project. So if you're Supercell, where do you think that Supercell went wrong here? Is it just the severity of the bans, or is it targeting the wrong people, or is it a little bit of both, or neither?
I think it's a little bit of both. So it's our fault. Buying cheap gems, we all know that it's not right, so it's our fault. I can't deny that, but I think they should just work on I don't know, the privacy or the security.
You must have been pretty surprised waking up to see that you were banned for 31 days.
I was just heading to home, and then I opened the game and I realized I was banned for 31 days.
And you did know when you bought the gems that you could be banned for it, or did you just think that it's kind of one of those things that they just will never enforce?
Honestly, I did that 5 times, and each one was from different dealers, and they all said that it was safe. But yeah, I got unlucky with one offer.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it was because of one specific vendor or purchase that kind of triggered it?
Yes, because it's well known by other players that all the players banned bought from the same guy.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. This guy did you dirty because he promised you that you wouldn't get caught, right? So do you want to out him right here?
I don't know, because he was just a reseller. He wasn't the main guy, He was just...
do you have a bigger name of this person who did that?
No, I don't.
All right. All right. Well, that's fair. And I think that you have like a pretty, I commend you honestly for coming on the channel as someone who got banned, admitting to exactly what you did, and then just saying that you agree with the bans. But I guess your problem is just the severity of the bans. What do you think would have been fair, Royal?
I don't know, maybe 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
My problem is that I will lose the season. I have to play on another account, and also I have to play on another account at Paris Games Week because I qualified there.
Totally understand. Yeah, that's got to be really frustrating, in all honesty. Like, I'm against the whole gem selling thing really strongly because of what the point that Option Trader mentioned earlier is that I pay full price. So, of course, I'm in favor of people who are illegally buying way cheaper gems getting punished, or at least stopping that, But at the same time, I do think that waking up to a 31-day ban out of nowhere without any warning or something is pretty aggressive, Let me ask you, Max, how do you feel about other violations and the fact that Supercell doesn't really enforce a lot of the things in the terms of service, and they just came out of nowhere and enforced this one? Like, obviously everybody knows that account sharing is rampant in the game, whether it just be two friends who are casual players who just share accounts, or whether it be people at the top of ladder having other people on different accounts. Do you think that they should be enforcing all these rules really aggressively, or is there a case to be had with only enforcing like the big things that are stolen credit cards that affect their bottom line?
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. I mean, they do selectively enforce their terms of service. I would speculate, I don't know, but I would speculate that other things such as account sharing would be extremely difficult to prove. I mean, how do you really know whether somebody is just using a different device and signing on and playing on their own account, or if someone else is doing it? So I think that actually enforcing that with any type of precision would be extremely difficult. On the other hand, the fraudulent claims on credit cards for transactions are very easy to recognize and very easy to prove, so that really the person who gets banned can't really deny it or fight it because there's a paper trail for all those transactions. And I do think it's fair to say that the other violations like account sharing don't directly affect the revenue of the business. So yeah, they probably don't have as much of an incentive to go after those people as much because it's not affecting their revenue. So it is frustrating that they would selectively choose which parts of the terms of service to enforce and how they would enforce that. But at the same time, I mean, one, account sharing is kind of a pain in the butt for those who are really fighting for the top spots in the ladder. But using stolen credit cards, to me, is wrong on a different level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can agree with that. Do you think that, like, from someone who's in Crucible Wrath, how do you guys manage to compete against these other clans at the top of ladder who are paying, a lot of money? I know this is kind of a pivot in the conversation, but I'm just curious. Do you find it a challenge to compete against these clans who are actually paying people to play these accounts?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we usually finish, third or fourth, I think, generally third. But, we have really strong players in our clan. But yeah, we'll probably never be, beating Nova or being in the top, one or two spots just because we don't pay for it. But, we're okay with that. We're kind of an independent clan, and, we're happy with the group we have and the success we've had.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following you guys, for 5 years, basically since Clash of Clans days, and you guys have always been like a really strong name in every game that, the 2 games that I've known you guys to be in. So, big props there. Do you think that, I mean, I'm just totally naive to this, but do you guys have any contracted players or pro teams or any endeavors in going into esports in a league format?
I may not be the best person to ask that question, to be perfectly honest with you. To my knowledge, I don't think that we have any like structured payout format like some of the other top clans do. I don't know if there's some like under the table deal that certain people would do. There very well could be. I really don't know, but to my knowledge, there isn't on the same level as Nova and Sandstorm.
Okay, that's fair. And, last question for both of you. We'll start with you, Max, as well, is, you know, you said that you had no problem with these bans, but you think that the bans were too aggressive. You know, if you could talk to Supercell, because I'm sure they'll be watching this video, like, what would you advise going forward? Like, what would be the best way to handle these types of situations? Do you think that giving people a heads up ahead of time would be the best method and stay with an aggressive ban, or maybe not go so aggressive? Like, what do you think could have been done better next time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question. I mean, I think 30 days is a little excessive, but at the same time, you know, as far as like what you could change going forward, you know, you can't create rules that are can prevent fraudulent activity, because fraudulent activity, you know, by its very nature is going against the rules anyway. So the rule wouldn't have prevented it. I do think that at this point they've clearly set a precedent about, you know, how seriously they take this, and so going forward, I think that there's a lot of people who are going to, you know, have second thoughts about doing something that in the back of their mind they definitely know is wrong. And so, you know, going forward, I would suspect, especially those who've already gotten one ban, I mean, if they get another one, you know, they could lose their account forever, or who knows. But you know, it's tough to say, because you can't create rules that are going to prevent something like this ever. But the fact that there is punitive, you know, a punishment to it is going to definitely deter it in the future.
Yeah, for sure, definitely, and I'm sure that resonates with you too, Royal. You know, Royal, first off, thanks for staying up. It's late in Romania, I know, but you know, do you have any final thoughts on this? I mean, obviously, again, big props to you for coming on and just talking about it and being transparent. But do you think that you have any message as someone who did get banned to Supercell or anything like that?
I won't say I want them to unban me, even though I want, but in my opinion,
Hashtag unban Royal.
the best idea would be to give people a warning. Like, if I do something wrong, give me a warning, and then I probably won't do it second time. And if I do it second time, then ban me.
All right, man. Fair enough. Well, I just wanted to thank again both of you guys for coming on. I'll include, you know, your Twitter links. Anything last words that we didn't cover that either of you guys want to share, or that pretty much sum it up for you guys?
Uh,
I'll just give a
Well,
shout out to my Slam, my boys in Crucible Wrath, best group in the game.
I want to say thank you for inviting me on your channel, and shout out to Sandstorm and Air Surfer.
All right, so shout out to Sandstorm, shout out to Air Surfer, shout out to Crucible Wrath, and of course, shout out to my guests for coming on, guys. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on the gem bans? Do you know anybody who got banned? Did you get banned? I hope not, but did you? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Huge shout out to my YouTube partner, Bren Chong. Make sure you check out his information as well in the description below. Guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.